I like to think of myself as a pretty decisive person. I always know what I want when I want it, and I have no issues making decisions in all aspects of my life. Present me with chocolate chip ice cream or vanilla ice cream and I'll go with the chocolate. Ask me if I want to go to Bali or Korea on a vacation and I'll choose Korea. Despite being a decisive person, deciding between the M1 iPad Air 5 and the iPad mini 6 is no easy task. In fact, you can even say it's a bit tormenting. Both these iPads have a lot to offer, and both these iPads share a lot of similarities. But deciding upon which one is really right for you depends upon your own unique lifestyle. So in this video, we are going to compare both of these iPads and figure out which one is best suited for you based on your needs so you don't end up making a mistake.
I don't understand why you're taking home. You had me at alone.
How's it going, everyone? My name is RJ, and if you're into Apple content and you want to see more videos on the new M1 iPad Air 5 or even the iPad mini for that matter, then do me a huge favor and drop a like on this video. It only takes you a fraction of a second to click that like button, but that fraction of a second goes a long way in helping me out. While you're at it, if you do want to be a part of this growing community, then of course subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. Starting off with the design. Both these iPads feature the same squared off industrial design language that has now become the norm on a range of iPhones, iPads, and even MacBooks. The iPad mini 6 weighs in at just 297 grams or 0.66 pounds. Meanwhile, the iPad Air 5 weighs in at 462 grams or 1.01 pounds, making the iPad Air 5 about 36% heavier than the mini 6. Of course, a key advantage the mini 6 will always have over the iPad Air 5 is portability. Its smaller, compact form factor means that you can pretty much take this thing around with you anywhere. The iPad Air 5 is sporting a 10.9-inch display with a 2360 by 1640 resolution at 264 ppi. The iPad mini 6, on the other hand, comes with an 8.3-inch display with a 2260 by 1488 resolution at 326 ppi. So pixels per inch wise, the iPad mini 6 is the slightly sharper panel. But in a real life situation, I can't tell the differences between these two displays apart. You do, however, get more screen real estate on the Air 5, whereas on the mini 6, a good portion of my Twitter feed is cut off, as you guys can see for yourself. Both iPads can get up to a peak max brightness of 500 nits. This is just fine for certain indoor lighting conditions, but when you do step outside or you're under a direct light source, then you do notice a little bit of glare. This is where I highly recommend a matte-like screen protector that will significantly reduce glare and eliminate fingerprints. And luckily for us, the sponsor of today's video, Paperlike, does exactly that. Long before this sponsorship, I've been a big advocate for Paperlike. I use Paperlike on all of my iPads, and it's the first accessory I decide to purchase when I do buy an iPad. Paperlike is what I like to call a multi-purpose screen protector. It does serve a multitude of purposes, and my favorite being this matte-like finish. That does significantly reduce screen glare. But on top of all of that, it legitimately does feel like you are writing on real paper. Since both the Mini 6 and the Air 5 do support the second generation Apple Pencil, a paper-like screen protector definitely enhances your writing experience on an iPad no matter which of these two devices you choose to go with. Take a listen to the difference in writing texture on an iPad with Paperlike versus an iPad without Paperlike. If you listen carefully, you can hear the frictionless smooth strokes of the Apple Pencil that a paper-like screen protector provides. A single purchase comes in a pack of 2, so you always have a replacement handy and ready to go. The installation process is quite straightforward, and I feel like a screen protector is one of those accessories where you either buy it nice or you buy it twice. If you guys want to pick one up for yourself, there is a link in the description below, and thanks to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. One of the key differences between these two iPads is the embedded chipsets. The iPad mini 6 is rocking the A15 Bionic chipset along with 4GB of RAM. On the Air 5, we have the more powerful M1 chipset along with 8GB of RAM. So how do these specs translate into real-time performance? Well, the Air 5 does have a slight advantage in performance. The Air 5 is a tad bit faster at opening applications and transferring data across the board. Even when I was editing 4K footage on LumaFusion, the Air 5 did feel a tad bit smoother while scrubbing through the timeline and was noticeably faster during the exporting process. But the iPad mini 6 is no slouch. If you don't don't have an Air 5 or an M1 iPad Pro in front of you to compare, you are not going to be complaining about the performance. The Mini 6 can handle just about anything. Gaming is stellar on this device, especially considering how comfortable it is to hold a smaller iPad and game for long hours on end. Instead of Face ID, both of these iPads are equipped with Touch ID. If you've been following my channel for quite some time now, then you know that I'm not a big fan of Face ID. I'd much rather have Touch ID on all of my devices. I just find Touch ID to be far more convenient and much more reliable, at least in my experience. Both these iPads have fast, reliable Touch ID, never once missing the timing. Both these iPads are also equipped with USB-C ports, so no Thunderbolt, and for a majority of users, I believe USB-C is more than good enough. Now, I particularly love using my iPad as a media consumption tablet, and speaker quality is very important to me. I'm not too fond on sticking things into my ear, so I heavily rely on stereo speakers. Both iPads do come with dual firing stereo speakers, and I can't tell much of a difference between the speaker quality. Take a listen for yourself and comment down below on which iPad you feel like has the slight advantage. I honestly cannot tell these speakers apart, they do both sound identical to me. On the camera front, both iPads do feature a 12 megapixel wide rear camera with 5x digital zoom. I know there are a few of you out there who do rely on the iPad's cameras for scanning documents and taking pictures of notes. With both these iPads, they do feature the exact same rear camera. You cannot go wrong with either. You can also record video in 4K up to 60 FPS with 3x video zoom. Now, I feel like a key component to any tablet is the front-facing camera. Most people buy their iPads for FaceTiming family members or for Zoom calls. So you'll be happy to know that both of these iPads feature the exact same front-facing camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera with a 2x zoom out and center stage. The front-facing camera does follow you around and keeps you in the dead center of the frame if it does detect any movement, a pretty useful feature on any tablet. A key differentiator between these two iPads is the smart connector. You see, the iPad Mini 6 doesn't come with a smart connector. This means it's incompatible with external keyboards. This does include the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Smart Keyboard Folio. Remember earlier when I said choosing between these two iPads really depends on how you intend to use your device. If you aren't relying on your iPad to replace your computer entirely, then the iPad Mini 6 is a great option. But if you do require a keyboard with a trackpad to type out notes, emails, and just for general web browsing, then the iPad Air 5 is your best bet. Don't be so quick though to write off the iPad Mini 6. You can of course use a Bluetooth keyboard and you can transform it into a little mini computer, but it's just not a reliable solution, especially when you're on the go. As we draw near to the end of this video, a few things have become clear. The iPad Mini 6 key strengths are insane portability and great ergonomics. This is the iPad to get if you're solely going to be using your tablet, well, as a tablet. This is what I like to call the perfect travel iPad. It's got a big enough display where consuming content is a great experience, but at the same time, it's small enough to use in public without me drawing attention to myself. Not to mention, it is compatible with the Apple Pencil, so note taking on this thing is easy. And even after hours of usage, I don't experience any hand fatigue. It is the perfect iPad for taking with you to bed and catching up on a good book before bed. And this is the iPad I take around with me everywhere, and I mean everywhere. The iPad Air 5 feels like it's the best value iPad Apple is currently offering. It is an absolute powerhouse of a tablet featuring the M1 chipset and 8GB of RAM. Being 10.9 inches, it's also got some portability and good ergonomics. A key advantage the iPad Air 5 has over the iPad Mini 6 is of course its compatibility with the Magic Keyboard. The Magic Keyboard is a fantastic keyboard. It's got some good key travel, so typing is a pleasant experience. And of course, it's got a smooth and responsive trackpad, perfect for multitasking. The Air 5 is a tablet with versatility, and I feel like it's ideal for anyone who already doesn't have a MacBook. A majority of the population can use this tablet as their go-to computer and get by. However, if you do pull this thing out in public, say while you're eating dinner with your friends, it is going to draw some attention towards you, and it's not nearly as portable as the Mini 6. It's absolutely crazy to me how similar these two iPads are in terms of specs, but at the same time, both of these iPads have entirely different use cases. You do really have to sit down for a bit and analyze your habits to figure out which one is ideal for you depending on your use case. Are you the type of individual who values portability and consumes a lot of media? Or are you the type of individual who wants a productivity tablet that's compatible with the Magic Keyboard and Apple Pencil? If you want something small and compact to take around with you everywhere and use it sort of as an agenda and a media consumption tool, then go go with the iPad mini 6, you will have no regrets. If you want an iPad with versatility that can be used as a standalone computer with performance good enough to rival a MacBook Pro, then the M1 iPad Air 5 is an easy choice for you. For myself personally, I do value portability in all of my tech. That's why I do daily drive the iPhone 13 mini. I want something that's lightweight and portable, easy to use with one hand, and prevents me from getting sucked into my phone, ultimately scrolling my life away. With the iPhone 13 mini, the smaller display does turn me off from my phone. I'm not as interested to see what everyone's up to on social media. I simply don't care. I quickly get into my device and get out once whatever I have to do is accomplished. And this is similar to what I feel like the iPad mini 6 provides. It's tech minimalism in its finest form. I do own a 16-inch MacBook Pro, so the iPad mini is the perfect in-between for a consumer such as myself. So after watching this video, let me know down below in the comments which of these two iPads you decide to go with. Are you leaning more towards the Mini 6 for portability or the Air 5 for versatility? Don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Paperlike. Honestly, it's a must-have accessory for first-time iPad owners. You will absolutely love it. As always, if you guys did find value in this video, make sure to drop a like on this video. It does help push my video out to a larger audience. And if you guys want to stick around for more cool tech content, then of course consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did make it till the end of the video, then drop a peach emoji in the comments below. I want to know who you guys are. And don't forget to flex with your tech.